And it happens. It happens. So we are live. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our Global Business Academy and Empowering Success for Entrepreneurs Morning Meet the Business Owner. And this week we have the beautiful Janeen Vosper. Now, Janeen and I have actually been talking of late, and we've met through a colleague. And what we've established is that Janeen's husband, a small world, grew up in the town where I grew up. So can you believe it's that 6 degrees of 6 degrees of separation, right? Incredible. When I mentioned my hometown, Janeen said, "Oh, I know that place," and I went, "What?" And it is a small world. But Janeen, we were talking about in your podcast, We Are Women podcast, the other day you interviewed me, and it is reciprocal because we love to speak to interesting people in our group, and you have had a really a lengthy career. So as a conference speaker, author, authority coach, sales, professional speaker, trainer, and 30 years experience providing business leaders with the know-how to get noticed in an industry as an industry expert. And that is the key, I believe, get noticed. Yeah. I really believe that is the key. But tell us a little bit about why you went into business, please. I'd love to hear that story a little bit more about Janeen Vosper, please.
Thanks, Lucia. A little bit of commonality as well. We both left school at 15. I mean, it was the thing to do in that era.
It was.
And I started working in a local cut price store. So for those that are a little bit younger, it's a bit like your Drake's or that smaller supermarket store. And one of the things I learned that I loved my pay of $37 a week. It was just brilliant. And I also loved working with people. I love being in that adult environment, but I loved working with people. And even though it was just helping people with their groceries, it just enjoyed it so much. It wasn't sort of the normal 15-year-old. And everything I have done since then has been about people. And what I do now is I really help them achieve the results they want. I actually help them people achieve what they don't believe is possible within themselves. And reach those results.
And I think, you've hit on something that's truly important with every business owner is to build a relationship. And you said that, that you love just talking to people and, finding out a bit about them, but also, just helping them. And that was that was the start of, and I love what you said in the interview about why would you ever go back to school and not get that $37 a week pay? And back then, $37 a week was a lot of money for a 15-year-old, when you think about it.
It certainly was. And everything, and I was going to become a teacher. All my friends at school stayed on and became teachers. But they've been limited to this classroom. But what I've been able to do over 40-year career is I taught aerobics. I taught fitness and wellness and health for 10 years. And I continue to teach people how to achieve the results they want. I mean, I'm just doing exactly what I wanted to do at 15. But I've gathered a lot more skills along the way than if I had ever stayed as a school teacher.
So you are a teacher. You are, you are doing teaching. You are teaching people how to have a life that is their desired outcome. So I love what you say. How you put that into context, because you can be teachers in different ways, as mothers, as nonna, grandmothers. You can teach in all different ways. And we all have that burning desire to teach and to help people. I think it's a human trait. I don't believe it's anything less than that. but when you look at teachers, they've got a curriculum, they've got structure, whereas you know, have gone and found your passion and purpose and have delivered it in your on your terms. So
And also, Lucia, what I've done along that 40 years is I've invested a lot of time and money into getting some of the best coaches from around the world. So I have the skills to be able to pass on to others.
yeah,
And I think that's such an important factor that anyone needs to realize if you're in business. You need to invest in yourself.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So when you established your business, I believe in 2007, was it 2007?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was.
The It was a business training, Speech Perfect. So can you tell us a little bit about that, please? Because that's, you know,
When I established the business, I was working full time as a general manager of sales for a multi-million-dollar company. So in my spare time with 2 children, I decided that that was a good idea to do. And what it did though, and this is something I encourage a lot of people who are in jobs thinking of getting into their own business, it gives you the resources and the finance to invest in yourself and in your future business when you've got income coming in. So you
yeah,
don't step into your own business without the resources, maybe the website, whatever that is that you want to
is, yeah,
use, you've already invested in it,
yeah, yeah,
and it's all tax deductible too, by the way,
yeah,
depending on what you're doing with your business and your job. But
yeah,
what I did was, my background is in sales, so that was part of what I
yeah,
was very keen to help people feel very comfortable about selling and sales, because it
yeah.
doesn't have to be icky or scary. It just
No.
is something, we're solving problems. But I've also a professional speaker trainer, and I've
Mhm,
represented Australia through one of the not-for-profit speaking organisations. In
mhm.
2013, I represented Australia in Hawaii, but
Wow.
I've also coached 2 international winning speakers. So I'm a good speaker, but I think I'm a really great coach, and
Yeah.
to be able to help people achieve better results than what I
Beautiful.
had. So while I was in that job for 20 years, and what I did though for the last 4 years is I sold my concept of moving into a 5-day fortnight for to be
Okay.
able to then start to really network, get out and promote my business. So by the time I was ready to start and full step into it full time in 2018,
Mhm.
I had everything set up and established, and I was
Yeah.
really ready to go.
Yeah. So you were definitely ready to take that step with not with blind faith, but with a
Mm.
knowing that you had the resources behind you already, to or the platform, I should say, that you know, you networked, you'd grown, and you were known. So
Mm.
you had that opportunity to then get the clients, etc. So it's
Yeah.
interesting to talk about the resources. You know, a lot of people take the blind leap, and they don't have the resources behind them, and then that's when, you know, things can go awry for people. So
Look at 2020, a lot of things went awry.
yeah, well, that's true. Yeah,
Mm.
and so um, I guess the next question, you know, coming from the background is, and you have invested, you know, in a lot of coaches and mentors over your
Mm.
time. What were some of the challenges you faced when you first got into business? And you know, back in the day, it was a very male, particularly if you were teaching business leaders, you know, how to get seen in business.
Mm.
How did you, what were the challenges that you went through? You know, were there challenges? Did you
Oh,
um,
there's definitely always challenges. If we don't have challenges, we don't grow. If things are really easy, then we don't improve and we don't grow, and
we
we don't
don't,
find ways to, you know, move around those challenges so that we can find a way through around
yeah,
to get
yeah,
that success. I think the biggest challenge for me at the time was understanding the technology that I needed to know how to use,
Mm-hmm.
be able to help my business run as smoothly as possible and put systems in place. That was always
Right.
that was a naughty word for me. But what I learned from a great coach, that anything you do once, more than once, you need to have a system in place. So
Yeah.
now I can put a ton of work out, and people think I'm everywhere, even when I'm
Yes.
heading away for a few days
To the
now, and
golf
I'm on
course.
the beach or on the golf course, or last year we went for 5-6 weeks to the Cape, and it looks like I'm there. I'm there
Yes.
all
Yeah.
the time. But
Yeah.
that took a lot of learning. So that
Learning.
was a real
Yeah.
challenge to learn and understand that, and take the time to put the systems in place.
Place. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
when I put a VA on a few years ago, I was able to say, here's the instructions. It's all done. And
Yeah.
the systems were there, and it didn't
Yeah.
take a lot of explanation. But that's the biggest thing. Is it seemed like it takes time at the beginning, which it
Yeah.
does,
Yeah.
but it saves you so much time down the track.
I believe it gives you back time. I
Mm,
really honestly believe it gives you back time, because you become more structured. If you've got a team of virtual assistants working with you,
mm,
they know their systems to follow. But what it also does is, if you have to batch, if you have to get content out, if you said you get seen everywhere, and the
yeah.
reason being that you've got all those different systems for that, it gives you back your time. You find that your calendar becomes not as full with tasks, but it
Mm.
comes fuller with networking or coaching, the things that you do want to do, the things that you're passionate about. So
And I think to generate business as well, and generate
yes,
income.
income,
That's
income
important.
producing. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Mm.
So
And that's what, sorry, just on that batching. You said one of my favorite words, batching.
well, it's true, isn't it?
Oh, goodness.
We do we use an app that helps us create the content, and like you said, we're everywhere. The only reason we're everywhere is because we do this content in a way that is, for forever and a day kind of thing. We
Yeah.
just go over it and renew anything that needs renewing, but basically the basis is there, the system is there, and I think batching and systems, there's a lot to be said about that in business. You
Yeah,
don't
and
reinvent
that
the
was one of
wheel.
my challenging. I'm a very, very organized person with structure, so that did help. But I know that a lot of people that I've worked with over time, that's not or innate in them, and
Yeah, that's
it's a
yeah,
struggle. And
yeah, yeah.
it's truly is one of the best things if you can overcome or get someone else to do it for you. Uh,
Yes,
you can,
outsource, right?
correct.
Outsource. And I do attract a lot of people that are spiritual. They're healers, they're meditate. They teach a lot of that energetic work.
Mhm.
Um, and that's what I've found with them, that helping them understand the importance of structure and the
Mm.
importance of systems, because they kind of have this, it's, if it's not in flow, it's not me kind of thing. But giving them back that sense of time can really make such a difference.
Mm.
How do you get around that with those types of clients? Like, how do you
It's
I'm
like
not going to
selling
say
any concept. It's like selling anything, selling products, selling any sort of service,
pain problem.
concept, an idea. Yeah, talk about the outcomes.
Yeah, the
Figure
solution.
out the pain, talk about the outcomes. What are the
Yeah,
benefits, and how does that look?
yeah,
That I just did a blog this morning. The only thing I do weekly is I set out a blog every Saturday morning
yep,
to my database, and it's very much this is what's happened this week, or that's my thoughts. So it's one of those things that's not prepared
yep,
multiple ahead of
yeah,
time, and I
yeah,
don't bat that. unless I'm away for 7 weeks, and then I will batch it all up before I go, because I'm without range usually. What I did this morning was talk about that. Is that, oh, lost my train of thought totally.
Oh, just those people that need that system, and that flow. So how do you
Well, talking about the outcome. Sorry, that was where it was.
yeah,
I went from flow into outcome, but that was, how does it look? When you're talking sales in anything, is really, how do you paint a picture of what something is going to look? So for people that struggle with those systems and just want the free flowing business where everything just comes along, is thinking for them, just talking about, imagine if you had an extra 5 hours a week to be able to work with people and help them achieve the health results that they want,
that they desire,
instead of creating content. How would that feel? So it's creating that image, creating that picture for them so that they can see what the benefit would be.
Helping them manifest, their ideal business model, I guess, is it's truly what you're helping them to see, envisage. So do you have a hobby that you love to partake of? I know that you've got a few, but what are some of your hobbies that you?
Some of my hobbies. We did quickly mention golf. That is definitely one of mine. So you can find me on the golf course on Tuesdays, unless I'm traveling and we're in the van and we've got an off-road camper and go away with friends at least once a month, if not more so, for a 4 or 5 day weekend. So I would love to travel and to get to unusual places. And this year the big trip is to Flinders Ranges in South Australia and outback Birdsville and all that. So I'm just, I'm really looking forward to doing that and just getting outback. Hence why 7 weeks I'll need to schedule all of those things. So we're ahead of time. So that's two really important ones. Another, one of the most important ones to me is I have 5 grandchildren. Spending time with my grandchildren. And you mentioned something, we're talking about education before. I don't think I was a great educator of my sons. I think we get really busy with our own lives when we've got children. Everything just happens, and days go into days. But with grandchildren, I know I've got the time and the focus. So I'm with them, they're 100% my attention. So that's something that's really special. Unfortunately, they live close. I'm able to spend some time with them. I have a pool, they don't, so that means another reason for them to.
Reason why they visit.
Which is very cool. Yeah, I've got veggie gardens going, and I've got a worm farm that needs feeding. I love spending time in the yard. So I do lots of other things, but I think that helps me. And walking, of course, and pushing that. It helps me stay grounded, so that and relieving that when you get busy, that level of stress, everything piles up on the have-to-do list, and having those other lifestyle things. And I mean, Lucia, I've worked towards this. I've planned this, and this is something really important for people to understand. When I became an aerobic instructor, I didn't just go, I'm going to become an aerobic instructor. About 5 years before that, I thought, what can I do that'll fit in really well when I have children and they're young? So I then trained, and I was one of the first groups ever through a fitness leaders course in Queensland. So I became an aerobic instructor for 10 years, and that fitted beautifully with young children.
Your children growing up.
And then the next one, well, what am I going to do next? 10 years teaching aerobics, and as a runner, that's an awful lot on the body. And I thought, well, I want to get into sales and sales repping and management. So then at 36, I went, all right, I'll study a diploma of management. So that in 4 years' time, when the boys will be a bit older, I can do that. Now that's really, and then, as I said, with my own business, it's really important to think about what where you want to be in that next 10 years and what you want your life to look like. I'm living the life now I planned 15, 20 years ago.
Yep. And that's an interesting point, Janeen. You know, if you are a 30-something person watching this interview, have a plan, have a goal. You know, you might see that, you know, we've got no responsibilities at the moment. We've got all the other stuff going on, you know, kids, grandkids, etc. But we haven't got the day-to-day, you know, busyness of children demanding your attention, etc. The thing is, you still need to be, well, I believe you still have to think about your future, because those kids, they grow really, really quickly. And if you haven't thought about yourself and, you know, just sharing what you're passionate about in your life or what you'd love to do in your life, or haven't thought about it, then you get to the time when the kids go and you're lost. You've got no idea, no plan, no nothing. So, you know, those 30 to 40 somethings, 40 to 50 somethings, begin to think about, you know, the long-term goals that you desire in life, because you know, you only get the opportunity to make that happen in the time that you're in the hustle of life, you know. So I think it's really important.
And that 30 years goes so quickly. Just doesn't it, Lucy? You just go, I don't know what happened to it.
I know.
And the only way you estimate time is by how old your children are, and then how old your grandchildren
are. My granddaughter turned 23 yesterday, and I just went, oh my goodness, you know. And a teacher, so we've got teachers in our family. So do you listen to podcasts or read? Do you, you know, when you're going on your walks, when you're going in playing golf, do you do any you know, any?
Definitely not playing golf. You really need to be focused on what you're doing there. But when I walk or when I'm in the car, 100% of the time I'm listening, usually to books, podcasts as well, but usually to books and learning from books. I swap in a fiction and non-fiction because it's, you know, quite fun.
I do that.
Very much listening to some sort of coaching, some sort of training. And for those, you know, that haven't got the money for expensive coaches, although good coaches don't need to be expensive, please trust me.
That's exactly right.
Is to download books and you know, be listening to them when you're driving along. I remember I used to, when I was GM, I would travel through all the mining area and mining companies.
Mining companies,
through the Bowen Basin in Queensland, and I would listen to books. But I'd get to the mining site, and the book would be so interesting. I'd be sitting in the car park. I've got better at that now. I know that it'll be there when I get back. But constantly, and we're traveling for a few hours tomorrow, so I've got, that's one of the tasks today is download a new book while we're in the car.
Well, it just so happens I have got a book at the moment that I'm reading. It's a fabulous book, and you may have read it. Or you might have had it on. I'm just going to try.
No, I haven't. I can sort of see it. Yeah.
So it's by the beautiful Denise Duffield Thomas. It's hard to see, isn't it? So, and it's called Get Rich, Lucky Bitch.
Is that on audio as well?
It is on audio as well. All of her books, she's the author of Chillpreneur as well, and she's also the author of Lucky Bitch. But she doesn't call, you know, that's just her tagline. She actually calls everyone lucky bees, and so bees are her kind of like her logo, but all about money archetypes and about money blocks that we carry. So really interesting stuff, She gives a buttload of freebies, like downloadables, meditations, all of the stuff that is really helpful in business. So anyone that wants that name and you're watching this, just put hashtag replay and let us give you the name of the book that we're currently reading. So yes, I do.
I do know a couple of good books that aren't on audio, but you can buy them and read them quite quickly. They're just mine. I'm just promoting my own books.
Well, yes, please do. Yeah, put them out there.
See in the background there a little bit, and one is called Being Unstoppable.
Yes.
And the other one is, whether you can see that. That one's Being Unstoppable. The words are in reverse. And the other one is Good Girls Do Sell.
Good Girls
Do Sell.
Do Sell. I'm just writing this at the moment. And Being Unstoppable.
Being Unstoppable. And the tagline for that one is, remembering when life gets challenging, you've got this.
Yeah, that's amazing. Janeen Vosper's. I'm just typing it in here. Books. And they're available Amazon, any Amazon, or?
They are available Amazon, or if you want a hard copy, you can order direct from my website and I will post it to you.
Or direct from Janeen's website.
The Good Girls Do Sell. I was given a challenge again from one of the coaches to write a book in 30 days. And we were traveling overseas to Norway in winter, actually, and right during that 30 days. So I wrote the book in 4 days instead.
My goodness.
Yeah.
It blows my mind when people say that they write books. It's something that eludes me, I guess. I think when you get a challenge set, though, it's more likely that you're going to go, rightio, I'll do that. I'll give it my best and see what comes of it. So I love that you did it in 4 days. That is a pretty mean feat.
Yeah, it had to be edited and everything, obviously, but the 30,000 words came out. It was, and it was a summer period through that Christmas, New Year. And so I would get up at 4 a.m. I would write until 12, and then I'd put it away and play in the pool and do things like that.
Well done, you.
Yeah. I was a little overachiever here, Lucy.
Oh, well. We all
no, it's the competitive nature in me. If I set a goal, then I really make sure I put the effort into work.
That's it. 15-year-old schoolgirl, right? Yeah. She's still there. Yeah, still there. Yeah. So do you have a short-term and long-term goal for the business? You were talking about the fortnight before. Can you just share with the people that are watching, some of your bigger plans for your business? Because retirement's not on the cards, right?
No, not at all. It's not. And because I've created this lifestyle business, I want more of the same, and I want to be able to do this as long as I can possibly do that. And that means maintaining fitness levels, because otherwise you can't do it. I'm part of a not-for-profit public speaking group called Power Talk Australia, and there was an international conference in Brisbane in 2007. This amazing woman, she was in her 80s, she was on a walking frame, and she would get up and give the keynote each lunchtime. But it was really just an anecdote, a humorous anecdote that she would share.
Yep.
Phenomenal speaker. She came from Oklahoma, so she had a really cute accent, Texan type of thing. I loved listening to her. And I sat there, so this is 2007, what we're talking about, nearly 20 years ago. I sat there and I said, I want to be like her when I grow up.
Yeah.
I want to be able to, because I speak, and I speak around different conferences and things, you can do that forever.
Yes, yeah.
And I said to her, how do you remember your stories? And and I can do that easily, quite easily now, is knowing how to do that. But I said to her, how do you remember them to tell them? And she said, oh, I've been thinking about it. Maybe I should start writing them down in case I get hit in the head. She had no concept she'd ever forget them any other way. I loved it. I loved it. It was such an inspiration. So for me, my business, it's doing more, just continuing doing that.
Yes.
Very, very high on my values is being able to share information and knowledge. Take it in and give it out. And that, it's one of my highest values. So if I can continue doing that until, you know, my grandmother lived to 97, most of her sisters were in their hundreds. If I can live to, you know, doing
well done, you've got longevity.
I just continue doing that. So that's my and how that looks each time. Now that'll keep changing, and that's part of being in business. You've got to keep adapting to things.
Absolutely,
yeah. So short-term goals. When I work with clients, I get them to set their goals a very specific way using a really set formula that works, and how to embed those goals into their future timeline. But I like to work with them on 90-day plans.
Yes.
The 90-day plan is much more, they're tasks, but that's the task to get you to your goal. Something to remember for everybody is we tend to overestimate what we can achieve in 1 year and underestimate what we can achieve in 3 years. So just being aware, if you don't get it in that year, just keep going, because there's a good chance you'll have it in the next couple.
You'll have it in the next couple. Yeah, I love that. So thank you very much for being our guest and sharing some of the wisdom that you have got going on there. I love what you're doing, and I wish you continued success, and nothing but getting that balance. Everyone tries to go for, looks forward to balance, but you sound like you've got it. Going away for 7 weeks, doing your caravan trips, doing all the stuff that is important, because we're not here just to simply work. We are here to experience life.
Most definitely. Yes, I'd have to still create and do what I do. I couldn't just be holidaying all the time, but that's just me. That's me. Whatever people want as their plan, then start working on it 10 years out.
Working towards it. Thank you, Janeen Vosper, and thank you, everyone. If you want to know more about Janeen and her books, like I said in the comments, she has got 2 books, and they're available on Amazon, or you can go to Janeen's website, which is coming up here. We'll put it in the chat as well for you, Janeen. And Good Girls, I think Reg has just taken the info. What is it? It's Good Girls Do Sell and Being Unstoppable.
Correct.
So I love what you do. So thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for the privilege, Lucia. It's been fun.
Yeah, thank you. Bye, everyone. See you next week in our Empowering Successful Entrepreneurs. Bye now.
Bye-bye.